So here I have my beehive on the balance scales. Just as a counterbalance, I've got a hitch off of 135, a bit of a girder, and then I've got these two tubs here that I put water in or out of to create the balance. And you can see if I did balance this about 10 days ago, and the scales, so that you can see how it works. You put some weight on until they balance. And this jug here holds when it's full. Obviously, I've got markings on. You can't see it very clearly, but it holds a liter. Liter of water is a kilo. I mean, it's not exact, but you know, there's a lot of stuff going around. Opinions on how much bees need to be fed for the winter and how much they use through the winter. And you know, I'm not into opinions. I'm into data. So I did a little experiment, and basically I started it a year ago, and it's not very clear. I probably should write it out better, but anyway, there we go. I'm not a proper full-time beekeeper. I'm just a farmer that keeps some bees. So started on the 22nd of November. So we've got a zero weight, or that's just a balanced weight there. So they probably did lose a little bit before that, but that's when I started doing it. So you can add it up yourself. So that's what they lost: -2. 0.6, 0.6, 0.5, 0.7, 0.7, and then 0.7. You can just see the dates there. So up to the 14th of March, and that's when we first started seeing proper pollen coming in. Obviously there was pollen coming in January, but that's when the proper pollen really started coming in. They was packing it in from the 14th of March, and then you can see just in 5 days they lost a kilo. So they're going to use a lot more stores when they start brood rearing. So that's when they properly started the brood rearing, I would say, from the 14th of March. I didn't feed these anything supplementary, so no pollen substitute, no sugar solution or anything. This is just naturally what's coming in and out. They put on a little bit, so that's obviously where nectar flow starting, I reckon, there as well, from the 19th of March. And you can see sometimes I only did 2 days, 5 days, and sometimes it was 2 or 3 weeks, depending on when the big changes were, really. Mostly changes in the flow and the weather rather than changes in weight. So up to the end of March, during March, they'd lost a little bit at the beginning, and they put on nearly 4 kilos by the end of March. So they started going into positive territory, but then some bad weather comes along, and you can see through April, weather's not very good, and they've lost 7 kilos. So they've pretty much lost more in April than they did all winter. And then look, from the end of April to the middle of May, they stayed the same. Now they didn't stay the same, obviously. Well, they did stay the same overall, but they didn't stay the same as in they didn't do anything. So they were bringing stuff in and they were using it straight away. So they didn't gain anything or lose anything, but they were bringing in and they were growing and whatever. But the weather wasn't good enough for them to put on weight. And then from the 16th of May to the 23rd, we obviously got a nice bit of weather window, and they're putting on 3 kilos. Now they didn't put on a lot, did they, there? But I know I did take spring honey off at that point, 23rd of May, off other colonies. So I did get honey from other colonies, but this one didn't have any surplus. So then they start losing a little bit through June until for the first half of June. And then you got the 12th of June to the 18th, they're going to put on 6 kilos. So that's the flow started again then on the 12th. So we had a period from the 23rd of May to the 12th where there's no flow, and then flow again. And you can see they put on 6 kilos in 6 days, and then the next 2 days they've lost 5 kilos. Probably absolutely hammered it down with rain for those two or 3 days. And then it cleared off again, good weather, and they put on 10 kilos just in 3 days. You can work this out for yourself. Look, they're putting on a bit of weight, and then this would have been a flow the whole time, but just weather dictated whether they put on or lost weight now. So they're in the flow from the 12th of June right through June. They're putting on weight, and then suddenly you get to the 3rd of July and the weather breaks and it's clear, it's sunny, it's beautiful, and they start packing it in. So from the 3rd to the 16th and up to the 27th, they're putting on 5, pretty much 18, pretty much 10, 6.5, what's that, 37, something like that, 36, 37 kilos maybe. and then I would have taken that from them, but I didn't put down minus 37 kilos. I just balanced it before I took the honey, and then I balanced it after I took the honey off. So they made that nearly 80 pounds of honey, and then that's it. 27th of July, flow stops, flows over. We had some absolutely stunning, beautiful 30-degree scorching weather for the first week of August, but nothing to bring in. So they lost weight. They lost 4 kilos, another 2 kilos, and then by the 14th of September, see, they've lost, so from the end of the flow and end of July to the middle of September, that's 6 weeks, this colony has lost 5, 6, 7, 11 kilos. So don't take all the honey they got at the end of July and expect them to survive to the middle of September. So I guess you do hear that story going around, so I guess that's true. So I did take honey, but they're in double box, so I left everything. I didn't touch anything in the bottom 2 boxes. I just took whatever was above that. So they had that stored themselves. And then, where did I get to? Yeah, so 14th of September, Ivy flow starts, and they're putting on 6 kilos in a week. And then by the 9th of October, they put on another 8 kilos. By the 1st of November, 2 kilos. And we're back to where we started. So that was the end of the Ivy flow, 1st of November. And then I've gone back to this year. So we're starting again, 1st of December. I put equals the 9th of the 10th, because I didn't want to put -2 as the top score. But obviously they did lose 2 kilos in November. So I guess really the 1st of November is the start of winter. I should have put that at the top, and the 1st of 12 should be -2, but there we go.